Open wide. Everything's going to be all right. A little wider. Fine. Fine. I see you've noticed my picture. What do you think? I find it helps the patients to take their minds off them. Excuse me a moment. We'll have to give him gas. Just relax. How do artists choose their subject matter? Ears, feet, teeth. Landscape. Beauty. You don't really imagine I find teeth beautiful?
It's a what, Cal? Shock. Shot.
As to, you know, like, he actually died. I mean, I thought the fresher the better, you know?
Yeah.
And it seems to have beaten the rotting, because she's like, oh, it's solid right through.
Damien's making a sculpture called Mother and Child Divided, which he will exhibit at the Aperto in the Venice Biennale. I think that it's particularly exciting to know that this piece is being shown in Venice, and obviously a city in which all the churches are filled with Madonna and Child paintings, and the iconography of the Christian iconography of Mother and Child makes it particularly pertinent and very exciting.
This is taking a long time.
He chose a very appropriate work for Venice. Of course, we're surrounded by the water, by the canals. We're sort of floating ourselves.
I was very impressed by the work that went into it, as in painting the building, and I remember him scraping up the tiles from the floor and doing the electrics for the lighting. I think I was more impressed with that than his work, but he did some boxes in the rafters, I forget what they were called, and I did like them, but I was more impressed with all the work he'd put in and the fact that it brought it all together.
Because of the location, which was very special, because of the way in which the work was presented, which was very professional, because of the catalogue and the way that was put together and presented, everything was done to make it seem like it wasn't a student exhibition. And I think that was what really caught people off guard.
I became involved in Freeze just by Damien asking me to be in it, really. That was it. He saw my work, saw some paintings that I was doing, and said, "Here, do you want to be in an exhibition, mate?" And I said, "Yeah."
Everyone sort of half believed him, half not. They thought it was a sort of drink talking, but he managed to pull it off, really.
Damien, I think, had the perception that you actually went out and did something yourself. That, in a way, was the theme, the subtext of the show. not waiting for the establishment to come to you. You did it yourself because no one was going to help you.
Damien Hirst exhibited in the show, but also organised the building, the lighting, the catalogue, and the PR.
Nick Sirota from the Take came, Norman Rosenthal, and a lot of people from like London galleries, practically everybody really, and people from abroad. It's dealing with the same sort of issues that any painter's been dealing with in the past. You know, about deciding on kind of what colours are going to go where and how you're going to arrange them in a composition. And I kind of find that in a painting like this, that the decisions I'm making kind of become pointless in the end result, which I find very interesting because I'm still just sort of thinking, you know, I need a pink here for whatever emotional reason or whatever reason you decide.
A direct result of the Freeze show's professionalism was that several of the participants had their first real taste of the business side of modern art.
He sort of was thinking in the region of, I don't know, something along the lines of £500 for the piece.
So does that go to me, or does that include everything, or what?
Well, we're going to have to figure that out, actually.
Right.
Well, I think the thing is that really we're in a position now to start to double the prices on pieces, because I think that now that the work is starting to be collected a little bit,
This group of people who are based around Freeze, it's actually a much larger group now than the one that was at Freeze. Those relationships have been maintained. And that world of, a world of ideas and a world of mutual support, in practical terms, but also in emotional terms of being interested in each other's work, that's continued. And it seems to me, if you look through the history of art, for artists who have success, they very often belong to groups of mutually supportive artists.
In the case of Sarah Lucas and Tracy Emin, I think that the development there is quite intriguing, because Sarah with Tracy Emin have set up this shop in the East End that is also a meeting place and kind of is a bridge for people. It isn't a gallery, it's actually not a studio, but it could be a studio. I think that impulse is actually something that is part of the original impulse that we associate with Freeze. It's the impulse to do something for yourself.
Here?
No.
How did the Damien Hirst ashtray come about?
Go on. We were just smoking.
And I'd given up smoking for 3
years.
years, which is also very important. Give up smoking, not 3 years.
It's important to you.
Yeah.
It's totally
Yeah,
irrelevant
it's
to me.
nothing,
But
yeah, to the rest of the world, no one gives a fuck whether I can give up smoking or take. But the fact is, I actually done it, and me and Sarah started smoking quite violently.
no, I will smoke quite violently, but you started.
I started smoking violently with this fantastic ashtray full of doggins, and Sarah said, "Look, it's Damien Hirst." And I said, "It is Damien Hirst."
So then you had the picture of Damien Hirst.
We just got a photocopy done, stuck it on the bottom, sold it for tons of money.
When he first started, it was copying, and he would copy anything. He'd draw people while they were sitting there. He'd even sit with a mirror and draw himself. And he drew his grandma and myself on various occasions, and we were both horrified because it was warts and all. He never flattered either of us. But that's why I don't think he'd ever have made it as a portrait artist, because he wouldn't bring out the best features. He'd just paint what was there. The one I've got over the fireplace was not actually an early drawing. It was one he did for me because he said, "I know you wanted a proper drawing, a proper picture." Plus, the work he does now, I wouldn't have room for anyway. I haven't got the type of house for contemporary art. At one time he said he wanted to do I've forgotten what it's called, when you engrave stones, gravestones and things. He wanted to do that at one time because he'd met a man that did it and it seemed quite interesting to him. So he went through a few phases, I suppose, of experimenting with different types of art.
I think a lot of people lost interest in my work because they thought I was too big for my boots or something like that, curating. And I think maybe at the time I was, because I did this big exhibition that everybody had come to see, and I was still a student. So, then when you have to go to a gallery, it's kind of a bit of a letdown. You don't have thousands of feet of warehouse space to go to. So I think I got into a state because nobody liked my work. I think I took it a bit too personally and kind of lost faith in the art world a little bit and felt like I had to make a piece of artwork that was about something.